and State Assembly are recording the local government, the board member, the first government college, was formerly the DOT member, AJ Freedom and Justice Party of Nigeria. Under the party, then I want to assure all of us here. Me, I am not part of it. None of it is acceptable. What we are talking about is what the product of our mental can produce for the great nation called Nigeria.
Thank you, Apostle. Thank you. Go ahead. I just want to give the start to make conflict. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Abdullah Ahmed.
Abdullah, go ahead.
Abdullah Ahmed. Okay, suna son su yi karatu babu dama kuma suna son su yi aiki kasuwanci abin da kawai suke sai dai ya ga su bara ina kan domin a kan da ne domin mu je ya kore alfahari da
Okay, looks like that's the end of the presentation. Thank you.
My name is Kiyo. I am a broadcaster. I'm also a disability rights advocate. Actually, it was in the community. So I opted to contest for House of. And I feel we have some challenges around the elections of persons with disability. Funding of campaign, discrimination, people not believing in your potentials. Because these challenges, if we do not try to provide a level playing ground, it's very difficult for us. I must thank Mr. J. Perry for organizing this disability conference. Image of persons with disability, creating the opportunity for them to connect and also. Because whenever we want to do this, we must bring our best, so that it will be pretty difficult for people. But this conference will provide opportunities around our elections, and the way out. So I want to say thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Just keep the microphone to the next. We have some of them to this side, not because you're not important, but because they're people that have already reserved the seat for this one. So go ahead.
I am Comrade Abdullah yang bekerja expert spiritual value. And the problem on which here more or less in politics participation or in disagreement. Among disability, we are more each. Or why I'm contesting for this? Because I've seen so many people outside the country. No different. My physical intelligence is no different with Abdulaziz from Nigeria, the president of Nigeria, and about the country of Nigeria. And the massive benefit in US. And if all these people can do it, I believe we in Nigeria can do the same thing. From the global government, influence in US, a continuing environment to contest it. The most challenging, no physically challenging that are campaign, no physically challenging. Because of the policy on the ground, in my state, you have to pay 500,000 naira for the fee of the living. Before if you have a rent, it's 1 million, 2 million, 10 million for the president. And how do you afford that 500,000 for the living before you can put the quota or banner for this election? And I'm taking election process and can convince people to vote for you. The funding is a problem.
Thank you very much. My name is Ridwan Mohammed Abdullahi. I'm aspiring for electability government presidency of the Kaduna State under the platform of IPP. I have been in politics for almost contested local government chairman under alliance of democracy in the local government. So the result of that, even though I did not get a board member in one of the government agencies, subsequently I was appointed as the governor of the that has not stopped me from pushing from active participation. Very critical stakeholder in YPP, both at state and national level. So I think the opportunities go a long way in creating more opportunities for facility and even championing disability work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I understand you didn't speak, right? Okay, so 1 minute. Please, ladies and gentlemen, everybody behind. Okay, that's our last speaker for this brief session. Go ahead.
Good morning. It's Honorable Tony Edmond from the States for the provision of the House of Assembly in the my comment here is not asking. I really appreciate the awareness of this secretary. Confab. Personally, I for the self and the less privileged, and that's why I'm excited to be here. So many people are spending their value for God. Financial independence will take over the whole affairs and it will be so. The government today down, they don't even care for anyone, they know it's their own service. Living souls, perishing in the village. You get down to the urban areas, you see nobody there. One person will have one voice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Foundation. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, the program will start proper. What we did was to do a preamble, and we're happy that some of our expected guests we apologize for not starting when we. Let me hand over to the MC of the party that I think incumbent upon me to very important. Everyone is important, but very important in this is and board members of the Albion Foundation. Let me start. Canadian High Commissioner is new in Nigeria, and I think this is probably one of those few events that is attending for the first time. When you look at it, you will think it's part of the opposition community. James is the High Commissioner for Canada. Thank you, sir. Foundation, Professor P. and Bob, who will also do the keynote address at the newest board member, very proud to present Aja Zakari, who one-time acting chairman of INEC. We are very respectful of gender balance in the board. Well, thank you. I always wanted to hide behind. Tony, please come to the front. Tony, come and sit here for me. In fact, one of the founding members of the Albion Foundation, a board member, and Tony is an expert. Those of you are here. So let me answer to you. So he'll provide the session, fully responsible. All right. So with that said, let me protect my life. Is in the house. Thank you for support and the Albion Foundation for all that you do. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben 2000 is empty for us.
Let's put our hands together for Jake as one who has been fighting for persisting with ability since the devil was born. So thank you very much for doing a great job and for keeping hope alive. This morning, I will quickly run through. Immediately after the press conference, we should take a look at prayer. The members of the press have asked for a special photo opportunity with Jake and the contestants before, and those who are contesting. Can we just quickly do that group photograph in 1 minute? That group photograph, please. Let's just do that group photograph in 1 minute. Yes, yes. So we can have the invited guests and the aspirants and let's do this together. National Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sorry, Angela. Angela, could you get me?
Welcome, His Excellency James the Canadian High. Thank you very much. May I also specially welcome Professor Vincent Alibomi, board chairman. We have also with us here Honorable Pastor Christus. This will work together. Honorable Lady is also with us, who's also contesting for the state. Welcome. Honorable Wokuchi Chinogyo is also here. Thank you very much. Please clap. Honorable Lawal Olaji. Thank you very much. Honorable Roshela is also with us, making sure that House of Welcome. Aduku is also with us, taking a shot at the state has settled for this state.
Sorry,
Is also here.
who's the only one left?
Parade for YPP, also from Kogi. You're welcome.
Prince Albert.
Short that the ATC of the press.
Who's Prince Albert?
Also those who are here. I want to specially
Consulting. She's just my friend.
The with us here, for the NLB. The truth is that you can't miss her anywhere. She's got the same over the years. Thank you very much, ma'am, for providing support, for providing NGOs. Thank you. Also, the moderator for the other panel, especially a member of the Albino Foundation. Thank you very much. So appreciate everyone who's here. Also But today is special. It's really not about campaigns, about for the campus. Somebody told me, say, are you here for the electricity conference? Or anything that will shock anybody. A US Republican, and on his deathbed, he decided to become a Democrat. He told his friends, I've changed. Why now? All of your life you have been a Republican. Why do you want to become a Democrat on your deathbed? I would rather it was one of them that died and not one of us. And politicians hate themselves that far. But what we have achieved here with this Confab, regardless of our political party, regardless of our affiliation, regardless of under one umbrella because of what we stand for and what we represent, so that together one after the elections. I think we can clap for the to believe, therefore, let me especially welcome one of our mentors, Abuja, the role microphone, and you don't get a blessing for her. It's really important. Let's welcome. Thank you very much. And she took a very bold step at the Senate also. I don't know. Nobody does campaign like that around here. They were intimidating manifesto what she wanted to do, but you don't politics. But don't give up. We still follow you. It will happen. Please put your hands together. So we'll stand down to honor Nigeria as we take the national anthem to formally start, and we'll go straight into the discussions because time is really not our friend. Can we take this sound, people, to give us the national anthem? I don't remember the words, you can Google it now. I'll give you a minute to do that. If you can, we'll do that after the. Just to remind us that the word shall and response from the last line. So we'll do that. Pray it and not say it. We'll do that. Peace, justice, reign. Amen. You can sit down. If you know you honestly said that prayer, you can clap for yourself. So we all qualify to be ambassadors. So while we have people here who are taking the bold steps to buy the forms, there are also others who can become an advantage both for elective positions and for appointed positions. We are ready. I think we should clap for ourselves. To begin properly, I know he has answered questions, but it's also important for the purpose of to do the formal welcome remarks made by the founder and chief executive officer of the Electability Foundation, Ambassador Jim. Please clap for him. Clap for him properly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would beg of you to allow me to stand on the already established protocol. I'm very happy and privileged to have very many of our friends who have joined us this morning. High Commissioner, who have become my friend with everything we met. Of course, I call her the MC said we have a signature, that signature is our head. And we have decided to reflect our citizen so that we truly our person without citizen. That is also helping us to power this event. Amina Zakari, we started by something about Honorable Amina Zakari. Honorable Amina Zakari, when she was personal assistant, was the first government official that received the Awil Foundation, and she was personally responsible to help seeing us there. Little did she know that she would turn around and serve on the board of the organization. Chairman, Professor Dean Anibal, who chairs the Awil Foundation, and also the Director General of IMT, that have trained several leaders. I remember a few years I sat down in one small room in Ikoyi and we were deliberating on what I felt. So he said, why don't you call it the Awil Foundation? Anyway, he is also a board member and feeling more about what the people that sat and approved the new name that we will soon unveil. Will be known as the All Right Foundation of South Africa. Trying to cater for persons with autism to persons with disability in general. I hope I didn't leave anyone behind. Dr. Adebukola, Dr. working hard for the persons with disability community, and all the candidates, and of course myself and members of the press. So I will not be able to read all that is on my speech this morning, but also to say that we are very happy that everyone has shown up this very important conference, and very particular about providing the enabling environment for persons with disability who are contesting this for their skills, and also put forward before everyone some of their challenges that I believe that this conference will be the platform that will provide the solution. I want to also announce that this evening we are also privileged that we will have the opportunity to have our own town hall meeting live on the national television, and the focus will be this candidate. It will be called Meet the Candidate on AIT at 7 to 8 o'clock. 1 whole hour. These candidates will have the singular honor of announcing what it will do to the nation, and of course, we will have 3 panel members, NLB and Secretary and Chike will be on the panel just to answer some questions that these candidates pose. We want to use this opportunity to appeal to the government partners, action aids, and all the international government partners. If we can get 1 or 2 of them elected, they will serve as role models and people that the entire community can look onto and inspire others to come out and contest this election. 16% of the entire electorate will be from the community of persons with disability. And you will agree with me that with that kind of who wins this election. And that's why we must come together as one to ensure that not only will our voice be heard, but our votes will also be heard. On behalf of the board management and staff of the Albino Foundation, welcome you to this all-important conference, and hopefully at the end of this conference, we will sit down and communicate and share with both the international and ultimately the media. Once again, I want to thank you and thank you for the privilege of listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. Expert in policy development and advocacy. But the human rights activist. So we have moved beyond fighting on the shoulder. But that's just a small work. Well, please let's example this is every morning at 2 a.m. when he wakes up to write, she has to be important. Thank you. Actually, our cup of tea. It's our business. I'm inviting you for good messages. One who appears to be new in Nigeria, which is what Nigeria. A friend of mine shared with me that there are over 42,000 living in Canada. And Canada exported over $605.4 million for the export in Nigeria. And between 2019 and 2021 fiscal year, the international support to Nigeria US dollars. I think we should clap for Canada. Very soon, they will see that it's a Nigerian that is coming back as a high commission. The rate at which Nigerians are going to Canada. But we have one who is a friend who though knew already speaks non-Nigerian languages and has tried a lot of things.
Sorry.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. Jay Capelle, I am founder and CEO of the Albino Foundation, board members of the Albino Foundation, distinguished guests, including those who are taking the brave step of contesting for elected office. Good morning, all of you. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning for a variety of reasons. I think as the MC just mentioned, I do have a great fondness for Nigeria. And I ran back towards Nigeria when the opportunity presented itself to become High Commissioner here, because I believe in this country and I believe in the good work that Canada is doing with Nigerians to address any number of issues, including today. I think as somebody mentioned, it's not about campaigns or politics today, it's about electability, it's about inclusion. Albino Foundation for organizing this important event. I thought it was important for me to be here because the core values inclusion, transparency, integrity, equality, these are very much Canadian values. And those values in our programs here in Nigeria and around the world. I want to take a few moments today to talk about inclusion and creating barrier-free communities, workplaces, and services, all, regardless of origins or disabilities. Throughout my career as a diplomat, I must admit, some emphasis to address forms of exclusion and discrimination, but I must say has really developed a new concentration. It set out 5 principles that really guide our efforts in making society more inclusive. First, principles of accessibility, equity, and inclusion. Second, fighting all forms of racism, discrimination. Third, enabling and advancing the work of grassroots networks and communities and bringing them into discussions. Fourth, including voices from diverse backgrounds in identifying systemic discrimination and barriers to same voices to design and implement actions to address those challenges. And last but not least, measuring progress and driving improvements. And so when I look at the work of people and organizations here today and the efforts to remove barriers and disabilities and full participation in society, I am convinced we are both charting the same course, trying to make our respective countries. With regards to the specific topics I know you will discuss today, supporting people with disabilities in their inclusion in the electoral process, and in Nigeria would benefit from continued mutual support and collaboration. In Canada, it is estimated that 9% of our population identifies as, but these citizens only make up 5% of our civil service and less than 1% of our political class. There's more work to be done. There is significant underrepresentation of a large section of our society, and as it's a fact of our parliament out of 330 possible seats who identify as people with disabilities. We have progress, and I just want to mention a few of these points of progress and a bit of inspiration for all of us. First, of Workforce Development and Disability Inclusion, who herself is a person with disability, Minister Qualtrough, who Games has been blind since birth. She is charged with implementing the federal government's Disability Inclusion Act, and I'm pleased to say it's not just progress, it's raising awareness, which I think more people become aware, the more we can gather and support one another to make the progress happen. Canada continues inclusion for people who have been marginalized, both at home and abroad. It is with a great deal of pride that the High Commission of Canada has long been deeply marginalized communities within the political process in Nigeria. This approach is embedded in our feminist international assistance policy and allows us to encouraging the representation of the underrepresented at all levels of governance, including during the electoral process. Notable progress in supporting women in particular in Nigeria in the electoral process, and continue to look for ways to ensure their votes are counted and their voices are heard. Please let me conclude by stating that you can count on me personally and on the High Commission of Canada as allies in the future. Once again, for this invitation to attend, and I wish you all deliberations.
If you're clapping for me, because I'm sure you have support, both an individual and as a high commission. Thank you very much. Please, let's clap for him. Especially welcome one of our panelists, Dr. Chike Okogu. Please put your hands together for him. One who shook the aviation sector with his voice. Thank you, sir. You don't play with us anymore since you spoke. I felt trying to fight local chemistry. They were fighting against a local gym hall who was not to schools to encourage or discourage students and pupils from drinking. So the governor went to a school and tried to do a chemistry experiment. I put earthworm in it, and the thing was swimming. And they brought another glass and put those coats and put an earthworm, and the thing cut into pieces. Yes, that is the moral of the story is that it's very dangerous for the school. Until one boy said, "Sir, I also have another moral from this story." And we said, "What was it?" He said, "Sir, die. We should drink, go school." I said, "It was a problem." But we have one man whom I will invite now. His bachelor's degree in chemistry, and real chemistry, not the local chemistry. He also has a master's in analytical chemistry, both from Indiana University, Pennsylvania, in the USA. He completed his PhD degree in analytical chemistry in 1986 at the University of Massachusetts. He returned to Nigeria to devote full-time effort towards development leaders with leadership and management competencies necessary for the transformation of gentlemen. Our keynote speaker for today is Professor Vincent Animo. Please put your hands together.
Thank you so much. He wasn't talking about chemistry. I knew he was somehow pointing to me. Distinguished representatives, yes, High Commissioner from Canada. I understand that ministers on the way, so I recognize distinguished participants, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Thank the Ambino Foundation for inviting me. Though I'm very familiar with the board, but Jake is why he chose me. So Jake, thank you so much. It is indeed an honor to deliver this keynote. The Ambino Foundation. I believe in the Ambino Foundation. Jake is sitting here this morning and wonderful people. It makes me proud to be affiliated with the Ambino. Especially when one of them said that what the government cannot even give a platform or the opportunity. Please clap. you really have a heart, a human heart. Appreciate the board members that are here, Mr. Tony and our US division. Hajia, I look forward to working with rich experiences. I extend a special appreciation also to European Union TAF with the EU SDGM project too, which actually funds activity. So I appreciate European Union. All your support to TAF is deeply appreciated. I also like to recognize the great efforts of the TAF team. Very hard working people. I work with them and it makes me proud to become a model on how to run NGO in Nigeria. They appreciate the task and as far as I'm on the board, you can only get better, not worse. With the support of the European Union, the Aluminium Foundation has implemented a number of activities and advocacies over the years towards promoting an inclusive society and enhancing political participation of persons with disability. TAF has inaugurated numerous stand-alone activities and programs that targeted persons with disability with the intention to build their skills, their confidence, to represent their rights and their needs within the political process, as well as opportunities for them to connect one another and also within the polity. And I want to thank TAF for doing this. The Aluminium Foundation, collaborating with the National Electoral Commission and other organizations of persons with abilities and civil society, and that effort resulted in the new 2022 Electoral Act, which captures specific provisions for example, not only did they give a clear definition of who is a PWD and vulnerabilities, but it also desegregated by creating status and types of disability in INEX Registrar of Voters, 1B. It also ensures that PWBs, persons with disabilities, vulnerability persons, that they are assisted during the voting process, and special provisions made for them so that they can participate. Provision for a visually impaired and incapacitated, that they may be accompanied of their choice. Please, let's clap for this wonderful. Apart from the review of the Electoral Act, we also worked hard, and during the 2020 Ekiti State elections, they provided various such as magnifying glasses, bailing ballots, special, etc., to make sure that the environment is conducive for them to effort by TAF and other like-minded organizations were all in active participation of persons with disabilities in TAF has indeed a champion of disability inclusion status. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is pertinent to know that changing and creating space for historically marginalized and vulnerable persons roles in society is not a small disability who often face systematic and enduring exclusion and discrimination. The World Health Organization estimates 80% of the world population has some form of disability. PWDs make up the world's largest minority groups. And they remain the most underrepresented in parliament, which further limits their ability to directly engage in decisions that Article 29 of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, CRPW, in political and public life, advocating that state parties with disabilities and political rights and with opportunity to enjoy them on an equal basis. What are these political rights? They entail the right to have a say is wrong. The right to vote in elections, the right to become a candidate in elections, the right to, irrespective of one's disabilities, as ensured that they can exercise this right on equal terms of the society. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, immeasurable efforts, advocacy, engagements, and disability activism, participation of persons with disability have yielded gains and lots of results. The most obvious are the increased number of PW registered voters and the number of the 2023 elections. And Jake, I'm not sure if I had you right. The people running at PWs.
Electorate. Expected eligible electorate of the entire population will be about 16%.
16%. I congratulate all the brave and courageous before us today on your successful candidacy in various respective political parties. You are my hero. I urge you to remain a voice to the we, that you are a strong symbol. I also want to use this opportunity of this occasion to join critical stakeholders, right defenders, and promoters to not relent, ensuring that every Nigerian citizen enjoys dignity, freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, I do sincerely hope that this forum will provide insights that will contribute to the success of our PW candidates, as well as boosting the confidence of current leaders and aspirants, particularly high communication strategies can aid effective and successful. I want to say I am most proud to be here and to be on the board of the Ambulance Foundation. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Our keynote speaker. Please put your hands together for me. Quickly go into talking and we'll to the panel. Let me just quickly invite for the highlights that the Albino Foundation able to vote. We'll take our programs manager and I'm in the Frank Ferdinand to just share their thoughts with us. Please put your hands together. It was a huge crowd that came. The hall was full. Okay, just before I bring other people cover their errors, but our own will expose it. I want to apologize to the crew on behalf of the Albino Foundation. We are thorough with regards to editing, but we managed to miss out the correction on actually Confab is N. We apologize. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, but we have two of them. So the people who did this meeting are supposed to be N. But please, do we all adopt Confab? Those in support say aye. Yes. No problem. Sure it's yes. Thank you, sir. Please, let's clap for him one more time. So we can now come down. Thank you, sir.
No, I actually take responsibility. I lead the organization.
Please, sir, let them make mistake with my account number. But thank you very much. This is really to just put us on the same page so that we understand what's happening. Let me now welcome the Frank to share with us what exactly happened at the conference. I will not use Confab again. Please put your hands together for.
Thank you very much. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol. My name is Ferdinand, and I am the program manager for the Albino Foundation. Okay. So, a lot of things about our right to vote and the right to be voted for, and with us, brave women and men who are contesting either for the Senate or House of Representatives. Governorship candidate is one of us. So congratulations to all of you once again. Able to vote. So I'll start with what is going to be available data on persons with disability, then to able to vote, campaign, the participation key recommendation, and then a summary of everything. So on data from INEC shows that we have 84,072 persons with disabilities who are registered voters. Okay, according to the CBA. Have a state, the Albino Foundation, to be the one itself, to have the state-by-state distribution analysis of and so there are some states that have a very high number that have lower numbers. Okay, so it depends on the shade. Okay, so amongst the registered candidates and registered persons with disabilities, we also have a lot of them who contest for one position or the other. And we've also classified them according to political parties, according to states, according to, like this one now is according to political parties. So we can see there are some political parties that do not have any candidates with disabilities. There are many that have a lot of them. Example, ABC has about 12, according to the data provided by INEC. And some maybe 2, 3, like that. Okay? We also have classification by positions. So example, we have none coming for the presidential candidate, 8 for House of Rep, we have 22 for State House of Assembly, and 5 for senatorial and 1 governorship aspirant, like we said previously. Thank you very much. It's okay, so that's the spirit of activism, you know. Okay. You can see that even women are not left out. Fine, the number should be more than this, but at least we are not left out. So we have one female candidate for the senatorial. And of course, we have that with us. That's the person of Honorable Nifemi Abegoshola. Abegoshola, excuse me, please. Okay, congratulations again, ma'am. And the House of Representatives, and 1 female going for the State House of Assembly. And we also have by disability type. Okay, so we can see the visually impaired, about 3 of them, deaf or dumb, about 4 of them, others, so little statue, other ones, other disabilities that are not highlighted here. And the people we have with 11, 12, 15, 16% albinism. I think we should. Okay, so, all right, noted. And we also have a classification by age. So on that 35, we have 7 of them, and below 35, we have a good number too. Okay? So these are okay. Nevertheless, various barriers to the participation of persons with disabilities in political and decision-making processes still persist. So some of them, we've highlighted them. We have issues of social stigma, low educational levels, and literacy among persons with disabilities, and the population gaps on how best to provide support for PWDs in elective or appointed positions. We have inaccurate data on PWDs. Like most of the figures we saw, in the course of our engagement with these persons, preparation for this activity and previous activities, we've learned that most of them are actually not persons. Which is why we have a lesser number of candidates here than what the data has provided. So it was against that the Albino Foundation, known for fighting for the right of persons with disabilities, took it upon itself to campaign called Able to Vote, targeted at persons with disabilities, to sensitize them on their right to vote and also to be voted for. So it was a zonal activity, and it's begun in Abuja. So what happened in Abuja? It was a convergence of a minimum of 1,000 persons with disabilities in Abuja at ICC M&M Event Center. That's begun in October. So we had a rough estimate headcount of 1,009 participants. The registered participants were 636 because we had to stop registration at a particular, I think when the event is begun. So it was well attended. We learned. These are some of the images from the event. Okay, it was well attended. Professor Yakub Mahmoud in attendance, and some other key stakeholders in the disability community. Okay, and let's not forget, this was funded by the Union through the EU support to democratic governance in Nigeria. From up to northwest, and it took place in Kaduna. Again, because of how it went in Abuja, we had to reduce the number of persons that we had in attendance so we can coordinate better, and also to ensure that the step-down processes in place are duly followed. So in Kaduna, but even at that, we had about 178 participants, rough head count estimates. And these are some of the okay. From the northwest, we moved to northeast, and it happened in Gombe State, and we had an amazing time with 5 days there, and we had a total of 202 participants with 100 registered. Okay. We moved into the south. Okay, these are some of the pictures from Gombe. And we had the support of all the INEC officials, the INEC and resident electoral officers and commissioners, and then to make sure that they give us all the support we needed. So from northeast, we moved down to the south. And the first southern zone we went to was South Rivers State. The people welcomed us, and we had a participation of 107 persons with 94 registered. And these are some of the pictures from the event. Of course, from south, we kept moving, and we moved in. Again, the INEC officials there welcomed us and gave all the support. They came with assistive devices, educating the persons on how to identify them and how to use them. And we had 179 participants, and of course 152 registered, and pictures from events. Presentation from every cluster within the disability community. We moved to southwest, and this happened in Lagos, the center of excellence. And we had 100 headcount estimate. Okay, so we did not stop at just persons with disabilities. Foundation is not only committed to persons with disabilities, but vulnerable and marginalized groups entirely. So we took it on to IDP camps. In fact, we are still going to, this is just the beginning for internally displaced persons camps. We launched that, this I think on World Disability Day. So we went to the IDP camp in Germany. And beyond just voter education sensitization, we also distributed foodstuffs and other material donations and support to the camp. And it was a very, very successful outing with about 120 households that benefited from things we had to distribute to them. Okay, so that's that for the campaign. So a total number of 1,800 as well as members with sensitized on their voting rights. and the voting process. And right now, we already have step-down initiatives in place. Apart from that, 320 households in the IDP camp in Durumi were sensitized, along with numerous material donations and support. So what are the key recommendations that we got from all our outings in Able to Vote campaign? Thematic areas. 1, the polling units. 2, ad hoc staff for INEC. 3, on PWDs themselves. 4, on political parties. So for polling units, it was recommended that security be enforced for persons with disabilities. Because it's a different thing if something violent should take place here, and those of us that can freely run, it's different for persons with. It was recommended that sign language experts should be deployed at polling units. And this was instantly responded to by them, saying that there is a financial limitation to this particular recommendation. So persons that require the services of sign language experts be advised to come with their own sign language experts, if possible. Also, about polling units, it was recommended that priority voting should be given to persons with disabilities. And of course, the recommended assistive devices should be deployed for their use. On ad hoc staff, it was recommended that they are properly trained on PWD inclusion and also trained on the use of assistive devices. The chairman mentioned a few of them when he was given the keynote address: magnifying glasses for persons with albinism, the braille ballot for visually impaired, those who are hard in hearing, and of course the special treatment for people with little vision. Those are just a few. The PWDs were encouraged to familiarize themselves with the electoral requirements and processes, but most importantly, to support one another. And for political parties, PWD inclusion. In the course of preparing for this program, we had lots of connections to political parties, and we amended their acts or constitutions that they have to include to occupy one position or the other. And so amongst us, apart from PWD candidates, we also have some people who are leaders. Example, Mala Yowani, Monsieur Isa Abba, they are leaders within their party. Okay, and Honorable Chief, thank you very much. Okay, then also on of PVCs. To pick up, collect your PVC. That is your power. Okay. And on that note, I will close and encourage each and every one of us to always be disability. It's not a barrier, but discrimination is. Thank you very much.
Very much. We appreciate you for giving us that detail. Originally, it was meant to be for 4 hours, but after rehearsal, she brought it. We'll go now to our first panel and our talk will be around appointing officers. Let me invite, I'm told that 3 persons will be joining us. Is not very far, he will also be on that panel. Dr. Adebukola Adebayo, as a disability inclusion consultant. Please put your hands together. On the panel also we have the convener situation room. Also, now we'll be trying to work out something to make sure it's possible to bring a former presidential candidate to the podium. I know that the surviving and the surviving, the new staff of the African Continental Hotel have been working hard to build a ramp this morning. Please, please. When you speak, people are afraid. People lose their jobs. Please, let's go. Please clap for him. He has forgiven us. Bring you up. But that one was imported from Niger Republic. So we try. So the other members were not able to make it, but if they come in, we will bring them up to join. But this panel, I don't know, can somebody just signal Prof? I told that Prof is supposed to be on this. Please, my ushers, can we just remind him to come so he can join them to do this quickly? Okay. So when he comes back, we'll get him to join. Let me now hand over to Fire, who is a moderator for this panel, to speak on the issues. Please clap for him.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yes, it's nice to be on this stage. Issues around elective and appointing political offices, persons with disabilities. It's election season, and we definitely are not left behind by what we've seen in this law. And so, give a very good hand for our Bill Foundation. A very loud one. This is the process of bringing persons who are electoral candidates, to sell ourselves. And when I heard the term electability, I was wondering, our Bill Foundation concepts and terms as long as it's promoting disability inclusion. And so, when I got invited to come participate in this panel, and I looked at the theme of this panel, I did a kind of review of how far we've gone with including persons with disabilities in the electoral process. Always give God all the glory that when we started this push, in the last like 12, 15 years back, and that's to give us a clear vision that once we come to see persons with disabilities not only in national parliament, but occupying very critical positions in Nigeria. We have come a long way. We have shouted around exclusion, and now the coast is getting clearer. The laws are being made. First, we had the capital, we had the very beautiful 2022 Electoral Act. But then, we are still not where we want to be. A lot of hurdles to climb. And that's the essence of this. I won't want to talk so much because we have very eminent panelists here, and I'm proud to sit with on this panel. I'd like to start with Madam Enel, the Country Director of Action Aid. Looking at your work now, as far as the electoral process is concerned, what are you getting? What report are you getting in the situation around issues of political persons with disabilities? You know, what is the situation seen, and what can you share with us on this?
Thank you very much, the moderator, personality, and my brother Jake. Contestants that we have here, you know, and it's a privilege to be here with all of you and come through as candidates. We are not talking of the primaries anymore. We are not delegates anymore. How you even got yourself to be delegates and say that it's such a unique experience. And I think the interaction is. First, I want to say that, but for Albino Foundation, we would have been actually organizing this meeting, because actually touched down in Nigeria in 1999, was started programming in 2000. The major focus, of course, among the women and children, you have persons with disabilities, but we have specific focus. Because when you look at a woman who is with disability, in fact, her burden is double. Because a lot of gender-based violence, disability, women with disability suffer it maybe 4 times more than a normal woman. Unfortunately, too, knowing what we have on ground, that the family are the ones that are violating them. And so we have a specific focus on women, but women with disability. If you organize a meeting with women with disability, you will hear stories that will go in your mind. And a specific focus. Then we also have a lot of youth with disability. And so we do all of it because we the nation. And you also know that the insurgents in the Northeast, there was a meeting we had, on anti persons with disability from the Northeast. If you know some people that lost their hands, their limbs, more people have been introduced into the community because of the insurgents. So, where we focus, but I'll just go a little bit. Global Affairs Canada has left here. At one point, gave us a kind of funding that has never been seen in this country. And that is about 100 women-led organizations. Of course, included in them are persons with disabilities. And so came in and gave us money for about 36 women-led organizations. There is never funding for women-led organizations. Regularity or people not really aiding women to get things right. But a lot of women and women with a number of them were mobilized by the Albino Foundation. And so we have had a lot of activities. When Albino Foundation came on board, it's taking a lot of work. You don't even have to change your name because you have your uniqueness. But when they call you and you will not sleep unless you admit somebody with disability, some of the things that you do. No. The versatility of Jake, of his movement around every strata, every sector, and insisting that something be done with persons with disability. When we are looking at political engagement, the topic which I was supposed to talk about, political engagement and preparedness, and I'm looking at the work that the Albino Foundation, in terms of preparation, in terms of the things that they ought to put on board, they have already done it. But when you, I think one of the unique experiences that we had was in Osun, where for the first time, persons with disabilities ad hoc staff of those who were in the elections. I think that was a unique experience for us. We do get reports from the Albino Foundation. Is a foundation. We're just coming out of retreat, and what everybody is thinking, has the right to say, what are you doing? Put an eye on persons with disabilities. The Albino Foundation will deploy during the elections. The responsibility comes to all the civil society organizations who are members of the civil society, that they are able to have an eye. I think it's a welcoming, it's coming in really timely, that we are not only focusing on the but giving a platform to further highlight. The PBCs, they started of the PBC collection to collect their PBCs. It's not enough. But again, the environment where you collect your PBCs, is it? Those are some of the issues that we're looking at. INEC is improved in terms of, because each of the elections that is going on, one of the things that we make sure elections is to look at your PU, the polling unit, and tell us what is going on at the polling unit. And is it that we get, despite that the fact that Jake gets reports and feed into situation reports that feed into the situation room. There are a number of challenges we realize. It's not only like those who are visually impaired. But if the person doesn't know how to use the brain, it's useless for you to give. And so, I know that Albino Foundation is collaborating with INEC to look at identifying the polling units where we have majority of the persons that need specific intentions. Is that you cannot supply magnifying glasses, for example, in every polling unit. But we are looking where the dominance is, and then that can be identified, and some of the things can be moved around. Said by INEC is very, very helpful for persons with disability. That has been a priority line for persons with disability. But again, we have to look at the quality of Nigerians. I was at a distribution center, something else on the floor. If you have a baby, the way we were distributing things, you have more specific things. And so there was a baby that came on board, the baby, and I gave the baby back to the mom. Then there was another woman who came, so you give them the normal part, and then for women who have children. And I saw a woman who came in. When you are, somebody wants to do something that is crooked, you get a pillar. And so I saw a woman who came in with a baby. So somehow something tells me, I said, why are you covering the baby? Can you take this off? I want to see the baby. And it was the baby that I had before, that I was even taking snapshots of. What I'm trying to say is the quality of Nigerians. You are having people, if you try to do something else than letting the people who qualify to use the priority lines, I think from the civil society situation, people that INEC is doing what they can, but when we see things, we will continue to report. But I want to congratulate holding and congratulate all the candidates for the great work that they have been able to do. The community, the issues of leadership and mentorship. Mentorship is another ground that we have, and I think actually is very, very happy. We worked a lot, a lot of background work before we had the Persons with Disability Act and also the commission. Formation, and we are really excited to see the participants here.
Thank you very much. Can we give a hand to Madam Bobby for persons with disabilities, and thank you actually for a lot of things that we do. And of course, from her presentation, you heard that preparedness, there's some level of political engagement, and we've seen some evidence around all of this. And other stakeholders are working around to ensure that the persons with disabilities are actually in the electoral process. But beyond issues around engagement and preparedness, that do we have the quality of leadership, that with disabilities that are coming up? Because it's one thing for the opportunities to come, it's one thing for us to have all of these advocacies, everybody is talking around about issues of inclusive or disability inclusive electoral of persons are we putting for, because we just heard that disability is not, so there is no excuse whichever kind of disability you have. You got to be qualified, you must have what it takes to be. Dr. Chike, what are we seeing on the ground?
Before I answer that, please, I want everybody in this. First, let's thank our main foundation for this great opportunity. But I'm going to do something unconventional now. Today is the 12th of December, right? It will be 16 years of God giving me the privilege to be a person who's a round of applause for God. But I'm going to preserve us. I want everybody in this one to please give a round of applause to Pastor. Please, can you stand up and celebrate that for me? And I'll tell you why. By me, financially and morally, emotionally and everything, where he was there and he died. Please, I'm going to come give you a hug, and I say a very big thank you. If not for people like you, I would have been 6 feet. It is one thing to survive a car crash with spinal cord injuries. It is one thing to survive a car crash. I was 36 then. You can imagine how my life seems to have shattered. People like this, Jake and the rest of them. So the topic and the question, in the search for survival as a person, a master's degree in leading innovation and change. And part of my creating value out of disabilities. Doing since then, leadership, mentorship, and all that, all my trainings, it's about telling the world, I am a person with disabilities, just the person is the word that you have to look out for. First, see me as a person. And I'm glad to say today that array of stars, champions that we have. ADC, I'm a deputy national. I understand why we have the highest number of persons with disabilities contested for elections. Thanks to our Women Foundation, we made sure
We had a meeting at the Hilton, a validation meeting. Both parties were there, and we all agreed removing those barriers. First, reduce or remove the cost of forms. Amongst other political parties did quite so. And that led to my being the first presidential aspirant in Nigeria with a disability. I was ready to run that race, irrespective of, because if you also know what is going on, you need to sit down. Let's leave that matter for another day. If there's anything I have called regrets, I think it's one of those, the decision to actually step aside. But we were 5 Deltans, and it didn't make sense for 5 Deltans to run for one office. So as the leader amongst them, I made the choice to step aside, to slide aside. I should have stayed. But anyway, he who lives to run away from a fight lives to fight another day. For persons with disabilities, there are 4 things that I researched on in my dissertation, which I see here. It's called CORE. CORE, C-O-R-E. It stands for courage. These guys here have been courageous because, for one, it takes courage to want to go there, look at the dawns, look at the scenarios around you. First, you have to have the courage to, even though the forms in most places were free, Lois has been fighting courage to do that. Opportunities is the goal there. We look at our disabilities as not an opportunity to show the world that we can operate from the level of empathy and not sympathy. The R stands for responsibility. Everybody here has a family they're taking care of. They want to take care of the larger society, and they took responsibility upon themselves to want to aspire. And I'll end up with the E, which is empowerment. They're creating their own world and creating their own stories. I give you a big round. Let me thank President Muhammad Buhari for appending his an act today and make it a law in Nigeria that disabilities must be given at least. But on our own, we have ramped it up to 16%. That is what CORE does for you. A round of applause for us. Let's for now, and we'll talk more.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chiki. A round of applause for him again. And he has given the very good summary with the core that we're not just seeing people who just want to take chance. There are people who are prepared. Quite a number of the aspirants, candidates that are coming out today have probably been in the political scene for a long time. But because, and that's what we will go into next. System shut them out, there was no mentorship, there was no, but now we've seen the opportunities that can come out of legislations, good institutions, that are inclusive, that are sensitive to persons with disabilities. But definitely that's not where it ends. I'm sure, Prof. Okay, good. Okay, good, sir. So, will it end here? These guys have broken, shattered the ceiling now. We are beginning to see more people with disabilities, with that audacity, breaking these barriers once and for all. But I'm sure these guys still need some push, some support, some mentoring. What do you think, we should be putting in place to further strengthen these gentlemen and ladies, the challenge to be out here to contest.
Thank you so much. Let me say again that I am most excited to be here. Though the chairman of the Abino Foundation, I rarely participate in the workshops but this is really opening my eyes to see indeed what TAF can do. Chike, thank you so much for the call, and I join you to appreciate Auntie Dayo. Auntie Dayo is like a daughter to me, so thank you so much for representing us very well. That's what I expect. The 4 areas you mentioned, courage, opportunities, responsibility, those are actually attributes of the individual that's running. But the most important one is empowerment. Now, the law has made a way for you to participate. And that's really what this platform is all about, that everybody should be given an opportunity to participate. However, it does not say because you are a PWD that that leadership must be given to you on a silver platter. Does it say that? No. You still have to compete. Therefore, you must be competent. Actually, what you're trying to prove is that what we call disability is not really a disability. That your mind is still functional. And Dr. Chike, I'm so proud of you for going and getting that master's degree, and I'm sure PhD. And I think you should go and get as many as you should. You are very intelligent, you know. You must develop your mind. You must develop yourself. That's actually what proves to the rest of the world that what they call disability. And let me talk about the 5 key areas you must intentionally develop yourself. And I hope you're writing it down. This is a professor now speaking. Hello. And I'm not just talking to the persons, the PWDs. I'm also now speaking to everyone. If you are going to live up to the full potential that God has put in you, you must develop your moral capacity. You must be strong in what is right and wrong. We can't vote you and you go there and start sharing with everybody else. Then why do we need you? What is killing Nigeria is lack of emotionally strong leaders. They don't know the distinction between what is right and what is wrong. So please be in moral fortitude. You are going out there to represent what is right. If you are joining the rest, quite frankly, the opportunity is being wasted. You must, on that note, you must undergo what I call ethical and moral training. And is Jake here? Members of the board, we need to discuss how to develop a training program to support these people. And as the Director General of Institute for National Transformation, we will take leadership in developing a training and leadership development program for you. Number 2 is moral capacity. You must develop, and it's part of the courage, emotional capacity. Of course, you have been rejected. Your inner strength is strong, but you should also know that trying to lead Nigerians is a lot of work. So you must be emotionally strong. You cannot be easily frustrated. You must know how to until you get what you want. And that requires training. Number 3, you must develop your intellectual capacity. Intellectual capacity is not necessarily memorizing facts and figures. It's the ability to apply critical thinking to address issues. And out of critical thinking, systems development. Every problem you see in the society is a system failure. Education is a system failure. It's failure of governmental systems. People who are there, but they don't know how to deploy systems. So when we elect you to go there, you must have this systems. If you don't have the skills, then quite frankly, your presence there is irrelevant. Am I communicating? So you must be thoroughly trained in system thinking. Working system look like? When it fails, how do I correct it? And then number 4, we also need to be trained in social thinking. How do we bring people of different diversity, different bringing together? Social skills is learned. It doesn't come with birth. You know, you must be sensitive to other groups. And quite frankly, that's the issues we are having in Nigeria today. That are sensitive to different social groups and able to bring them together. And finally, if you're going to be a good leader, believe you me, leading is very challenging. You must have a good physical vitality. You must have good health. Some of you are smiling, looking good now. But let me put that position on you. The weight of that position alone. Are you strong enough physically to handle it? So you need to be trained on how to good physical vitality, how to eat well, how to rest, and so on and so forth. Those are 5 critical capacities that they have. Number 1, moral capacity. Number 2, emotional capacity. Number 3, intellectual capacity. Number 4, social capacity. And number 5, physical capacity. Well, once this discussion takes off, we will see how our institute, INT, can actually support the Albino Foundation to make sure that the curriculum is created.
Thank you very much. Let's give a big hand. Let it be bigger. Thank you, Prof. You see the difference? That's very good. Thank you, Prof. But again, there's, where you have a lot of room is an improvement. Let me come back to Madam Ellen and how the engagement is going on and how we're seeing people prepare. And of course, the evidence of preparedness is in the hall here, isn't it? We can see the candidates, isn't it? So it's no candidates on the ballot this time, and quite a number of them. And that's going, I'm sure, come next elections, is going to double or triple this number. But again, the situation room and other, there are a few other things we still need to look around. You know, we know that yes, the laws are there. INEC is making. Oh, Welcome, man. Thank you. Okay, welcome, man. All right. So we know that the welcome, man, and we're just discussing around elective and effective political offices, leadership and mentoring, and of course how it all works around disability inclusion. And I'm going to direct my next question to Madam NNB, and we're talking about the next level coming out. We know issues around, and you know, looking at the term of this conference, electability. People have bought forms or they got forms free or whatever, you know, people are now, is now disaggregating, you know, what's it called, assistive age, voting age, and so on. What will in ensuring the electability of these candidates that have come out? I mean, are you looking at, you know, for these candidates to compete? What are the things that the situation and your partners have outlined to really look out for, that we can learn?
Thank you very much, Sean. I welcome our sister, the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs. You know, we have allowed him to rest. We want to just say a bit of issues of women, and letting us know too that we're looking at every woman who's here. I think Jake made a statement on what the civil society organization, our colleague, the program officer, also situation. What persons with disability have been part of those who are is also part of those. And so we credible, fair election. Set free of, you know, and the security. There is insecurity. Many people, you know, and so when our call, I think one of the things is to hear from the candidates. In hearing from the woman, you know, I know and she had to quit her. She's a member or was to become partisan. Have that exit road that at all times. A lot of sensitization is going that about where are they at a particular sees that for a very long time they are going to be at, and the kind of poverty, when you say 130 are below the poverty line this year, that's where the research covers. There is a lot more people that have that access for distribution and is waiting for the government, each of the words when they are disseminated. We are happy that the data analysis is needed in different places. We'll also encourage INEC to have a for persons with disabilities. To have those guidelines during not struggle. And struggle. We are all, they have assured us they are going to do bulk SMS. Know those where they are, so elections. On issues of persons with disabilities, encourage all those who almost Nigerians are persons with disabilities. They definitely can walk alone is enough. We're hoping that INEC's timing, and we have been called, but only INEC was handling the PPC. But we do as we can, but we also accountability is one of the core things. The emotional also Chief talked about. It's a pleasure to see you. I think I'll finish, his youth for a job interview in Kobe. And he ended up, he's doing his master's, he's doing his to connect with you. But life, if you don't treat people one way, I'm really excited. The way the issues of everywhere is challenging in the civil society situation, to make sure that the social, the confidence, a lot is removed. You have to have a talk. And so they tell you certain things that he's talking about, that Prof is talking. All Nigerians, them building an issue, so making the difference. Stand up right from that. I'd like to hear from one or two, candidates to becoming candidate today. Thank you.
Because I want to hear you talk about in this space, electoral space, institutional that will access to media, access to campaign space issues, even among non-disabled parties and all of that. So, but where is the place of disabilities in accessing all this space, and what's the situation?
Okay, I think one of the is what we are engaging, and what makes the organizations that makes the meeting, and so we, because without doing anything, you cannot. It is doing its own, Younger Africa, CDD, Clean Foundation. Also, all sorts of environmental. Presidential. If we had a presidential candidate with some, the reason why we are doing presidential, we try to choose particular for the top of, is you do a bit of a data collection, mapping political parties in different states. If you want to bring everybody on board, I think different sessions are we are not there to say, if it's governance, for example, where we are bring on board persons with disability. I think I think in Ekiti, we had to bring in the only woman, though her party was not, the top 5, but we had to bring in the woman because we thought we should look at issues of equity. So as we are going on, Jake was at the presidential town hall with the PDP presidential candidate and the vice presidential candidate last night, and he was able to engage them on what they want to do on issues of persons with disability. But I think, and when we did the Occupy of the National Assembly, Her Excellency, the minister will tell you that the disability, at the National Assembly, they rose in there, even during the time of the signed bill protest. There were so many. Also, the community of persons with disability there. So we are carrying each other,
Thank you very much. A good hand for Madam. Okay. Out of time, but I'll come to Dr. Chike to let us know issues that persons with disabilities face when they. Now we have them. What do they need to do? Principles, which of course covers everything. Do you think these candidates, and I'm focused on the candidates because that's celebrate them, showcase them, and to see how we can. So, what one thing do they need to do beyond the core? And for example, should they win? I won't say isn't it? Yes. So should they win? Should elections just end it all? Thank you.
Prof. and my big sister Jane. For you, because it looks like some of you are there, so I'll come there. You eyeball. The first thing that you, yes, I know some of you are approaching, some of you are for right speech. No, even if I cannot stand physically, but I stand for this. Put your best foot forward. Don't look at the challenges, don't look at the change starts from your small corner. Prof said it earlier, social capacity, social capital. Election, cash, money to run the election. Prof, you have put money there, that's why you can withdraw from there, right? So, these people that you wanted to withdraw from, ask that question. If you can answer that, look, if there's a road, gather people to start fixing that road. A good leader, not, okay, let me not mention names, not when you allocate responsibilities to people by talking. People to solve a problem. And that brings me to the definition. Is defined as being able to identify, gather people to work around the solutions to that problem with a view to creating a better society. If you are able to follow, identify the problems, gather people
You don't have to do it yourself. Albino Foundation did not gather solidarity. I believe call them the action enablers by my professor in Harvard. If you have your pen, write it down. These are the 5 things you need to do. Take away from here. You guys are so the first thing there is so you work towards solving what. 2 is the sense of urgency. When is the time to? You guys answer me. When is the time? The time to fix any problem. So we have to create a sense of those problems. 3 is you can make. If you believe make a difference, you can get it. A lot of people, the MC mentioned the change in the vision publicly, I keep doing that to damage. I tell you today, everybody, the laws concern in anger, things got bad. But with channel, you do not travel as a person with disabilities. The laws were activated and NCE came out to the airport as little as parking space. Your fed parking in every airport, not only one. They tell you you cannot park. Just go to the NCE all the airports. All that they have the facilities or not. Those are the things that so let's take them between urgency, solidarity, anger. There's a 5th one. I'm talking too much, but don't worry. When I remember and I'll share. Once you can do all this, I tell you, don't look at the money. If you look at the money, you get scared. But if you can do these little things on your own, support your dream, you will see that you become the most popular person. Solve problems.
Thank you. So the candidates can go to their communities, their constituencies, and win. To win now. But let's cap this up with what things up. And that's why we come to Prof. To say, yes, you gave us why. There are so many. We are all writing them down. But Prof, can we institutionalize so that it doesn't become a one chance thing? Is it something that maybe TAF and the allies that is it something we can institutionalize? We know that once you're coming out for elections, as a person with disabilities, and not as non-person with disabilities, process that help to shape those that come out for elections.
Thank you so much. Abraham Lincoln, given 6 days, he said, I will take 4 and take 2 years to cut the tree. He said that one day a tree will be given. So always have a mindset. Preparation, yes, can be institutionalized. trying to advertise the Institute for National Transformation. Intentionally raising leaders who will have the organization. Antidario is a product of where it's not just in Nigeria, Uganda, Rwanda, there have been honorable ministers, members of cabinet for national transformation, and all that similar institutions to tap into and be the fact that I'm also a foundation. I can assure you that that to you free. It can be institutionalized. You have to have the mindset to. In fact, I rather you over prepare yourself. When you do, success.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the, and I think we can't get it any better. We have to get, and I don't think even the non-disabled. So let's give ourselves a big round. We heard how, the situation room is monitoring, they are ensuring that everything, and of course, the leadership component. We got to be prepared. It's not going to come like a bed of roses. We must make our whether we win or we win the election. Encourage ourselves. So put ourselves through those organized mentor. I think at this point we can only candidates with disabilities. It's not just the end, but it's actually whether you win or you win, the community of Nigeria will need you because and they are proven to have the quality to the next level. And on that note, I thank Madam Electability, the country communal Nigeria Situation Room, President from the chair of the Abino. And thank you very much for being part of this. And I thank the Abino Foundation for giving me the opportunity to all these eminent personalities. It's a privilege. Thank you very much.
Sorry, permit me to do this meeting. Learn how to create hope. Your hope will come to reality. Together for the panel, we'll take a group picture down here. Now they are coming to meet you, Doctor. We'll take that group picture. Let me especially welcome Honorable Minister for Women Affairs, Dean Paul. We appreciate being there on time. And today she had to come in function where the president was seated and she had to speech. Thank you, Mom, for that sacrifice. On our entourage, the Deputy National Ibrahim. I think we'll invite the Honorable Minister. The very, very vibrant young politicians in Nigeria. Mr. Zara, you're welcome. Thank you very much. This picture is the expanded. Please, sir, can you join this picture? Please. It's good. Thank you. It's only at the
Please, candidates, with the rest I saw that.
We appreciate you. I especially recognize one is the zonal Comrade Mohammed Abdalisa. In that case, even in persons with disability. Thank you very much. First, we will take a from the
women and their mother. To every, a mother to every who does not see their ability. My party to adopt the already established, ladies and gentlemen. The APC has a seat for president, and yes, we have one of us disconnect with you. One of us decision-making body member of the NW, with us, of our dear parents. And so I want to APC is my dear brothers and sisters, for us to pick PVCs and that will in governance. Okay, what I want to tell you, and that the bill for the people passed. APC deserves commendation because in our clearly stated is going to take serious of people with disabilities elections, and I want to with disability are fully captured in BCC. Assiduously towards shows the commitment to the people living. It is your level to reward after winning the elections. And so I want each and every one of us to make sure that ourselves, our brothers, sisters, and neighbors all obtain their PVCs. We continue to take care of us after elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you as the Deputy National Women Leader of the APC. But also to add that in this place we actually have a political party that was never formed and will never be formed. It's called WCP, as Women Conscience Party. I will work with that party. We will make sure that we give all of you one of our candidates here to adopt, mentor them, so that you will draw them, carry them, and show them how what it is